So I'm standing in front of Antwerp Central Station. And this is a really good place to start my very long walk around Antwerp because it's the getting off point for so many people as they enter the city. And notwithstanding, it's just a stunning, stunning building. But today I'm going to walk around Antwerp. I'm going to do about 35 k's, so very much circumnavigating the city, and I'll end up in the Grote Markt late today, probably at around 5:30 in the afternoon, and it's 8:30 or so in the morning now. It's a beautiful day so far. There's rain forecast for this afternoon, but hopefully that stays away. But yeah, it's about 20 degrees or so now, and very sunny and looks lovely. So today I'm going to walk through, start over to the left of the station, which is the Diamond District, go through the Jewish Quarter, then I'm going to head out to Park Nord, which is a very big urban park on the outskirts of the city. And we'll go through the Port District and go along the river, and we'll go from there. But looking forward to it. A couple of rules with this challenge I've set myself. One is an obvious one: no public transport. Antwerp has a fantastic tram system. The bus system's maybe not as efficient, but it's still there. And it also has obviously a great local bike hire scheme, but I'm not going to use any of that. I'm just going to walk today. And the second rule of this challenge is no sitting. So I won't sit until I get to the Grote Markt at the end of the day, at which point I'm sure I'll be appreciating a nice comfy seat, or anywhere to sit at all for that matter. So, all right, I'm going to head off and get moving. So just here in the Diamond District, it's a bit too early for most of the shops to be open, but it is staggering just how many diamond merchants there are in this city. I have read somewhere that Antwerp has over 2/3 of the world's diamond trade flows through Antwerp, so it's a massive industry here. And it's crazy how, in what is a very secure city, I reckon there's at least 14, 15 security cameras that are looking at me right now, and 2 police cars. So I'll keep moving, but first stop out of the way. So I've just done the lap, or the loop, of the Jewish district and the Diamond District, back past the train station, and I'm now walking through Chinatown, which is, I think it's the only recognised Chinatown in Belgium. But I'm heading to Park Nord, going through the Seafook district. I just live or staying on the periphery of that district, and it's an absolute maze of streets, so with any luck I'll get there, but hey, a few more steps won't kill me. So if we look at that building, the base is obviously the original part, and that was actually a fire station. And with the help of some very smart engineers and architects, they built this lunar looking structure on top of it, but they also actually built a car park underneath the building, and that is now the headquarters of the Antwerp Port Authority, and it's really quite an extraordinary landmark. Walked around sort of the port, survived a brief rain shower, which thankfully was brief, but it's, as you can see, it's clearing up again, so hopefully the weather gets a bit better, and although it does look quite threatening. One of the remarkable things about the port is just how much construction there is. So it's, a huge driver for the Flanders and Antwerp economy, and I guess it's, it needs to move with the times and get bigger. So from there we're going to sort of head back a bit more into town, down, following that tram, not getting on it, and heading towards the Mass Museum, which is another major landmark here in Antwerp. 2,000 steps in, so I guess a bit over a quarter of the way, and we're at the Mass Museum. This is a must visit if you are in Antwerp. It's quite new, it's probably 5 or 6 years old, I believe, but has some really interesting displays on Antwerp's maritime history, the history of the city. It was one of the most significant cities of the world in the 1600s, and also talks a lot about the city during World War II. And obviously the devastation that happened during them and the efforts to rebuild after that as well. But one of the great features is you can go to the roof and have a look around and get a great view over the city. Escalators, not stairs, which is good. So we're going to head up there now and see you there. So just down here by the river, and just had the second rain shower of the day. Suspect it won't be the last. But just behind me, this is the start of what's known as the Antwerpen Nijmen Monument. And that's during World War II, it said that over 25,000 Antwerp residents were killed. These weren't soldiers, these weren't people on the front line, these were just people that lived here and were residents and died in their homes going about their day, which is a staggering number, really. And so the intent is that the Nijmen Monument is about identifying, documenting every one of those people and ultimately creating a memorial where they'll preserve all their names here. So it's a very long-term ongoing project. You can see that they've made a start, and yeah, hopefully next time I'm in Antwerp I can come back and see further progress in this really significant project. So we're in this beautiful little laneway here, and this house is the oldest house in Antwerp, from the date of around 1480, so survived 6 wars, well over 500 years, probably plenty of efforts to demolish it, and thankfully it's still here. So I've just found a bit of shade because my God, it's warmed up. But I'm outside the Plantin-Moretus Museum. And I know I said it before, but if there's one museum in Antwerp that is really cool, it is this one. Christopher Plantin was a printer in the 16th century who had the first commercial printing business, certainly I think in Europe. And this museum tells the story of his family, the story of printing in Europe, and it's really a fascinating visit. So I would thoroughly recommend it, and it's in this really beautiful square that has just been remodeled, and again is also worth a visit and a sit and a drink, but I won't be sitting, not yet. So we're on the other side now, what's known as the left bank, and it's much quieter over here. This is very much the new Antwerp as opposed to the old Antwerp over there. And look at that bastard of a cloud over there. So a few spots of rain back again. So I'm going to get back in the tunnel and hopefully it'll be over before I get back on the other side. So that there is the Antwerp Waterport, and really fascinating. That was built in 1624 as a ceremonial entrance to the city from the river. So if I pan around through the park, the river is probably 100 metres that way, so it gives you a sense of how much of this area is reclaimed from the river some time ago. But yeah, that's a beautiful piece of history that's sitting here in Zuid Park. So from here I've got a bit of a decent stretch to get to Park den Brandt, and so we'll get on with that and keep moving. So I'm here in Den Brandt Park, and yes, that was a decent stretch to get here. It's a really peaceful area out here. I've never been to this part of Antwerp, but the park has a mansion that was at one point owned by a very wealthy Antwerp family, and it's been preserved as a couple of nice cafes, and I believe it's a wedding venue as well. But yeah, so well outside Antwerp now. I've crossed the ring road and possibly crossed back over it, but yeah, it's a lovely spot out here, very peaceful, and 32,000 steps in for the day if you're keeping count. So yeah, definitely on track for the 50,000. The legs are starting to feel it a bit, the knees are a bit sore, but I think I'll get there. So walking into Middleheim Park now. Middleheim Park is very close to Den Brandt, which I didn't mind, but it's a lovely park and it's got a lot of sculptures in here, some which are a bit weird, which I'll show you, and some which are the sort of type you'd expect to find in the park. So wandering through here, again, lovely and quiet, and if nothing else, geez, it's nice to be off cobbles for a while. So still in the Middleheim Museum Park, and this is the public storage section. So these statues have been removed from wherever they were for safety reasons, or just had to be repaired potentially, and so they put them here, and they can still enjoy them, still wander around them, but for whatever reason they're no longer where they were, or they're here temporarily and waiting to be returned to their rightful position. I'm going to assume that one's meant to be vertical. Yeah, very cool. I remember years ago when we went to Russia, and there was a park outside Moscow, and it had all these Soviet era statues, just stored statues of Lenin with the red stars and so forth, and yeah, God knows they probably put them back up, but this reminds me somewhat of that sort of space. But it's cool that they're still here, and you know, I'm going to wager that one was put here because it was giving kids nightmares. Anyway. So we're in Zuid Park now, back quite central in Antwerp itself. You know, look, as I say, there's not a lot of green space in the city, but this is one of them. It's a park that's been preserved, obviously, over many centuries, to their credit. Not the most beautiful spot, but it's peaceful, it's green, and it's, having just got through a fourth shower of the day, it's nice and sunny again, so that's nice as well. Getting down to it, so we're about 43,000 steps in, so we might head back to the main shopping district. A few more stops to make there, and goodness, we're getting close. Nearly there. So we're at Rubenshuis now. Peter Paul Rubens is probably the most synonymous artist with Flanders and certainly Antwerp, and he, in the 1600s. He made a name for himself in painting vast biblical canvases, that many of which are still on display in churches around Antwerp today. So you can do the Rubens Trail, which essentially takes you to several churches, each of which have a Rubens on display, and Rubens' house obviously is the museum in his name here in Antwerp. There we are, the Cathedral of Our Lady. See, I remembered it. A magnificent cathedral. Construction started in 1352 and finished in 1521, though I don't believe it's ever been completed. It's 123 metres tall, so by far the highest Gothic cathedral in Belgium. And I think it's still the tallest structure in Antwerp as well. Don't quote me on that. But it's just a magnificent cathedral. If you are in Antwerp, again, worth going inside. It actually isn't just a cathedral, it actually has a lot of really impressive classical and modern art pieces in there, so it's worth a look indeed. And this is obviously Cathedral Square, which we're in now, which has a few squealing kids, but and late in the afternoon, always very busy. And we come around the corner and here we are in Grote Markt. And that there is Antwerp's town hall building with the statue of Bravos in the foreground, and it's actually, the water's flowing today, which is really unusual actually, so we're extra lucky. But yeah, all the flags on the front of the town hall represent countries in the EU and also countries that have embassies in Antwerp as well. And obviously the flags of Flanders, the flags of Antwerp, the flags of Belgium as well. Yep, stand there and take your photo, thank you. So I've become the person I despise. Wander around, we can see it's a really spectacular square and a great place to end our walking tour of today. So I'll just wander over here and get away from people. So the legend of Bravos, immortalised here in this statue, is there was a giant who used to patrol the river Scheldt, and he would charge a huge toll on boats and merchants that wanted to enter the river. And so Bravos was a Roman soldier who cut off the hand of the giant and threw it in the river. And so depicted there, he's throwing the hand, but that is supposedly where the name Antwerp comes from, as in Antwerpen, as in, which means to throw the hand. There's a bit of debate about that part, but he's certainly got a statue to his name, if nothing else. So that's about it. That'll have to do for the day. It's just on 5:30. Finished in the square, and remarkably I've literally just hit 50,000 steps for the day, so hit that target. I did take a detour which added a bit of distance and to pick up a cinnamon bun, but it was worth it and I think I earned it as well. So thanks for joining. I hope that's been interesting. Really enjoyed today. My feet are a bit sore and I think I've earned I'm going to go have a sit down and probably have a bowl of fritters to contemplate the walk back home.